Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to today's video. We did it, we're here, we're in the third trimester. We made it through trimester number 2. I can't believe it's actually already this time that I'm already filming my second trimester recap. I feel like my second trimester absolutely flew in, and I probably mentioned this in a couple of videos over the last couple of weeks, but I just thought that the last couple of months were just going to fly by at like a crazy pace because we had so much happening in our lives, whether it was work or just personal lives over the last couple of months, that we didn't really see the time going in. So yeah, we're here now in the last couple of months and I'm feeling really good, thankfully. So I just thought, I had said this back at the very start when I had announced to you guys that I was pregnant, that I wanted to kind of do a little bit of a recap of my trimesters as I go on. I actually really enjoyed watching these videos when I wasn't pregnant. I wasn't expecting. I was just obviously watching videos of girls that I watched on a day-to-day basis and they happened to be pregnant, and I really enjoyed kind of listening to their experience throughout their pregnancies. So I thought I would do this too, seeing as my time has come. So I actually sat down yesterday or the day before, and this trimester was a little bit different. I feel like because in my first trimester obviously everything was really new to me, I started taking notes weekly because there was so many changes happening in my body, and I just wanted to make sure that I would remember everything basically. But in my second trimester I didn't actually take any notes, which is a little bit mad. However, I did sit down and I have quite the detailed notes on my second trimester. There's probably a lot more changes than I thought there was. It was just that in my second trimester overall, in comparison to the first, I was just feeling so much better. I had so much more energy. Not to say that my first trimester was incredibly difficult. It was hard. Pregnancy is not the easiest thing in the world. It definitely is trying, but I'm loving it so far, and the second trimester has been a totally different thing to the first trimester. So let's see what happens in this one. But yeah, I'm just gonna start straight into it. I'm gonna give you some updates on the baby and then some updates on myself. So probably the biggest thing that started happening in the second trimester in relation to the baby was that it started kicking. I am not kidding you when I tell you that baby kicks are the best thing in the whole world. I do not know how it's going to feel in the third trimester when there's a little foot stuck in my ribs or something. But at the minute, they started off as like tiny little, the only way I can explain them, and I didn't understand this when somebody else was explaining it to me, but they are like little gas bubbles almost in your stomach. Like you feel like they're little gas bubbles, but they're actually kicks. But now they are so much stronger, like they're really pronounced, and you can see them outside of my belly now, which is absolutely insane. So I just have written here a couple of details on the progress of me feeling the kicks, just in case you're in that period, you're not feeling them yet, you're not sure when you're supposed to start feeling them. I can feel my eyes watering and my makeup running. Anyway, so at the start I have here such a long gap in between your first scan. I had 2 kind of scans at the beginning, so technically grouped your first scan and your first proper midwife's appointment where they can check your baby's heartbeat, etc. At this stage I was really anxious because I hadn't started feeling kicks yet, and I didn't have my first like proper, I had a midwife's appointment, but I didn't have one where you could check the heartbeat and stuff like that until I was 20 weeks. And that was when they used a Doppler to hear the heartbeat and point out kicks, and it put me at major ease. I didn't realize how anxious I was over this. I didn't really voice it to anybody else either, but I had just heard so many women that had started feeling kicks at like 17 weeks, 18 weeks, and I was at 20 weeks and I hadn't felt any kicks that I knew of. However, when I started feeling the kicks, I was like, that's what that was. Okay, that makes sense. So I was actually 21 weeks before I recognized the kicks. I was actually driving down to personal training to a session, and I had just mentioned the night before to my boyfriend how kind of like not nervous, but maybe at the previous appointment in with the midwife, I obviously had told him that I was anxious that I hadn't felt any movement, and I had told her obviously too, but at that appointment she kind of pointed out where the kicks were and obviously let me listen to the heartbeat, or let us listen to the heartbeat. So obviously I knew it was happening, so I was probably probably just trying to look out for it a little bit more over the next week or so. And I felt it in the car before I went into a training session, and I rang my boyfriend immediately and I was like, oh my god, I felt a kick. So yeah, that was like the best feeling in the world. So yeah, they started off like little kind of like flutters of gas bubbles, and now they are full-blown strong kicks. Baby is super active, kicks a lot. That obviously, don't compare this to your own pregnancy either, because clearly everybody is different in the rate that they experience kicks and how often they experience them and when they start feeling them. This little Bubba is very, very active, mostly after I've eaten, after I've kind of like done some form of activity, or I've walked or something like that, and in the evenings as well. This morning it was really active too. I don't know, maybe throughout the day when I'm like walking about and stuff like that, maybe the movement is kind of like rocking the baby to sleep, or I'm just not really as aware of the kicks until I'm kind of standing stationary or sitting down. But that's when I notice the kicks a lot more. Also, two kind of really cool things about the kicks is my boyfriend actually managed to feel them himself at 25 weeks, but they were pretty small kicks. There was just like one pretty low, and he was like, wow. But I don't really know if he actually felt it or if he was just saying that because I told him that it happened. But last night, actually, this is like really good timing to film this. Last night we were sitting down watching The Witcher and the baby was just so active from yesterday afternoon into the evening, and they were kicking me like crazy. So I got him to kind of like focus a little bit more, and he felt like a good like 5 or 6 really big kicks, which was really, really special. It's really, that was one thing I was really looking forward to. Obviously I can feel the movement myself all the time, but he can never feel that. So yeah, it was really, really nice for him to kind of get to experience that. Obviously the baby is growing, the bump is growing too, so I'm definitely showing a lot more than I was in trimester 1. I'll give you a little bit of a bump date. So this is where we are here in 3rd trimester. There's little Bubba, and there's my doggy's pink toy. I also had my next scan for like my 22 week scan in my 2nd trimester, where they do like the anatomy scan and the anomaly scan, all that kind of thing, and it went really, really well. I actually have a clip from that, so I'll try, or like not a clip from it because you're not allowed to record in the scans, but I have a clip from before I went into it, so I'll try and insert that here. Hi you guys, good afternoon. It is currently 1 o'clock and I am sitting outside the hospital ready to go in to I'm 22 weeks pregnant this week in 2 days. So I'm getting ready to go into my 21/nearly 22 week scan. This is the first time I'm actually vlogging like anything to do with my pregnancy and the baby, and it sounds very real when I'm saying it to the camera. So yeah, today is the anatomy scan / anomaly scan. So gonna see the baby in full force today. I've actually already had 2 scans. Usually I only would have had 1, but baby was hiding in my first one. I think I was only 11 weeks pregnant when we went for our first scan. Baby was still very, very little at that stage, and was jumping around already. But the sonographer couldn't really get a good reading on the size of their head basically, so I had to come back in again 4 weeks later when I was about 15 weeks to get scan number 2. So this is scan number 3 for little Bubba, and I'm really, really excited to see them. Hopefully today I can get a little glimpse of their face, which would be very exciting, and yeah, just make sure everything is a-okay. So I have scan first, and then I have, oh, my battery's flashing. This is really appropriate. I thought I had like really decent battery. Anyway, I have scan first, and then I have a class after that. It's like an early pregnancy class where they just go through like lactation, and there's a pregnancy specific physio there as well. However, the classes start at the exact same time that my scan is, and I think my scan's going to be about 30 to 40 minutes, and the classes aren't in the hospital. They're in a different healthcare kind of area the hospital has, about 5-10 minutes away. So I'm going to be nearly an hour late for the classes, but they won't have another one until I'm nearly 30 weeks pregnant, so kind of defeats the purpose. So I'm going to try and just get to whatever I can of that. I think it could be like a 3 or 4 hour class, so I'll just head on over there after I'm finished with my scan. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to get in and get to see little Bubba today. It's all getting very exciting now. So yeah, baby was doing really, really well in that scan. I actually had to get up midway through the scan and move about because it tends to want to keep its hands hands in front of its face, it's like, no photos, mom. So she couldn't, and it was all like bunched up as well. I didn't mean to say she there, we don't know the gender, but yeah, it was all bunched up and like cuddled up in a little ball. So the girl during the scan couldn't really get a great photo of it, or like the right measurements. So I had to go out and do a walk and then come back again to finish off the scan. But she got all of the measurements all good. Baby's looking great, really average right across the board, which is good. It was measuring in at just 1 pound at that stage. So I have no idea what the baby weighs at the minute or anything like that. It was also breached during that appointment. However, she was saying it's super early, like the baby can flip around. It had so much time to move. So I have no idea what position the baby's in at the minute or how much it weighs yet. I do have another scan in 3 weeks time, I think. So we get to have another little look at Bubba then. But the best thing that I got from that scan was a look at my baby's feet. I have never been so in love with baby feet in my life. It was the cutest thing in the world. I couldn't get over it. I rang my boyfriend after it and I was like, you have no idea how cute our baby's feet are. They're adorable. And he was like, okay. Also, I had, obviously, as I was saying, my first kind of proper, I had a midwife's appointment obviously at the very start of my pregnancy, and then it switches between midwife and doctor kind of in between that. I had my first proper appointment in the hospital where I'll be delivering at the beginning of my second trimester or somewhere in the middle of it, and Ryan got to go to that one as well, which was really nice because he wasn't going to make it to the scan after that, so he really wanted to be able to hear the heartbeat and all that kind of thing. So the way that my appointments work is that the hospital that I'm going to isn't like super close to where I live, so there is another kind of a hospital that is closer by. They don't deliver babies there, but it is still a functioning hospital basically, and I can do a lot of my midwife's appointments there. So that's where my first midwife appointment was, and then my second midwife's appointment was in the hospital where I will be having little Bubba. And I am actually going to try and go with the MLU over here, which is the midwifery led unit. So the midwives will be delivering little Bubba, all going well. Obviously I am super open to whatever has to happen. My birth plan is fairly fluid. I have an aim towards going epidural free. I'm not saying at all that there's anything wrong with going with an epidural. If I have to get one, I have to get one. If I have to get a C-section, I have to get a C-section. Very open to anything, but it's just something that I'd like to try, I guess, and go as just use like gas and air, I guess, to get through it. But if I have to get anything, I am absolutely 100% fine with that. Anything to get baby earthside healthy and happy. But yes, the midwives are going to be working really closely with me over the next couple of months. I just really liked the vibe of the midwifery led unit as well, and all the midwives that I've met so far are just such lovely women, so I'm really excited about that. They showed us around the unit and the delivery rooms as well, so that was a really nice thing too. They're just really well set up for, you know, as calm of a birth as you can have basically. So they have lots of like birthing balls and Himalayan salt lamps and all that kind of thing, and obviously I know anything can happen during labor and delivery, but it's nice to kind of have that mind frame going into it, I guess. But yes, that is a little update on that. Okay, now to how I am feeling. Overall, great. So I just have here way more energy. I was able to return regularly, at least kind of 3 times a week to the gym. Had no tiredness at all. Obviously, usually second trimester is like honeymoon phase. You do regain a lot of your energy in comparison to the first trimester, and I had mentioned in my last update video, I'll link that down below if you missed it actually, but I did mention that the tiredness in my first trimester was outrageous. I really struggled with that, and I struggled with dizziness a lot in my first trimester, but the energy levels were just really tough for me because generally I would have quite a lot of energy. I wouldn't really be a lethargic or tired person. So it was really great to regain my energy in the second trimester and be able to go to the gym again. I was really happy to be able to keep up my activity levels. I obviously am lifting lighter weights and I have to modify a lot of things that I do in the gym to suit being pregnant, but it just moving my body in general felt so good, both for my mental health and my physical health. Okay, sleep has been a little bit all over the place, I'm not gonna lie. I usually wake, for a while at the start of the trimester, or at the start of my second trimester, I woke around 3 and at 5:30 consistently every single night without doubt, and that wasn't because I was running to the toilet or anything. It was just like pregnancy insomnia. I just could not sleep properly, and for those waking hours as well, I was awake for like an hour or like an hour and a half and could not get back to sleep. So that was really frustrating because obviously it made you a little bit tired then throughout the day. And then I did mention to you guys before that my body was just like naturally waking up at 6:30 every morning, and that's just how it was going. I don't know if that's just my body like preparing itself for less sleep when the baby arrives. I have no idea, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Other than that though, sleep's going pretty good. I have started waking up a little bit more in the middle of the night to use the bathroom because there's less room in there obviously. So yeah, other than obviously the waking windows in the middle of the night, I'm kind of used to that at this stage. It's a little bit all over the place, but could be worse. Food cravings and aversions. Still haven't had anything that resembles an Asian noodle stir fry. I don't know where this food aversion has come from, especially from a girl that loves Asian food, but I just still can't. It just does not interest me whatsoever at all. Oh, that was a big kick from Bubba. Other than that, I haven't had any crazy pregnancy cravings or anything like that. However, I probably have eaten avocado toast with eggs more or less every day during my pregnancy. Could have worse cravings. That's probably one thing that I have consistently been eating over the last couple of months. I just love avocado toast so much. And then the only other thing I can think of is I probably am craving like a lot of sweet stuff, which if you listen to old wives' tales, that would point you in the direction of a baby boy. Who knows? Other than that though, the only thing or the only things that I really miss are smoked salmon and sashimi, or like raw sushi. Obviously I can still have sushi, like tempura rolls and stuff like that, but it's just not the same. It's just really not the same. So I said to my boyfriend, I was like, when I have this baby, I better have a bagel with smoked salmon and cream cheese waiting for me at the end of it, because I miss smoked salmon so much. Okay, another couple of things here. I have just general things related to kind of like body changes and self-care and stuff like that. So obviously getting dressed for your growing body takes a little bit of time. It took me a while to figure out my style again way after I got pregnant, which was really strange because I feel like in the first trimester I totally lost my style. I found it really difficult to get dressed and I had no bump. So I'm not sure why that is. I mentioned this to another couple of women that were pregnant as well, and they said the same thing. They were like, it's really weird. You kind of start to kind of get your vibe back. It could be just to do with you not feeling, you know, great in your first trimester and all that, but like second trimester you're like, woohoo, let's get this going. So you're kind of like up and at it a little bit more and you just kind of want to feel like yourself again. So I just have here at the start, I didn't even have a bump but felt like I wore leggings and jumpers, but now that the bump is out I feel more comfortable with my style again, which makes me feel amazing, which, you know, obviously that's the main goal, is that you feel great. I kind of haven't felt the need to constantly be in leggings or anything like that. I do obviously wear my Lululemon shorts quite often. Generally that's because I'm like training or something like that, or it's just very hot. But those Lululemon Align leggings and shorts are great leggings for pregnancy. I actually haven't had to, thankfully, buy any maternity clothes yet. I've just been kind of playing around with my own wardrobe thus far, and if I have bought anything, I've just bought something that's going to complement the bump. I probably will have to start going up a size in a couple of things now just to kind of accommodate the boobs and stuff like that. Boobs are definitely growing and starting to look a little bit different, and obviously my belly is growing a lot too, just in relation to like body changes and stuff like that. I'm really embracing it though. I honestly, I'm really thankful as well that I'm in this mindset too, where I didn't feel like my body changing was a bad thing, because I know that can totally happen and that's totally fine as well. It's normal. But I think I was really at peace with my body when I got pregnant as well, and I am at peace with where I am in my health journey as well. So I felt pretty good about my body changing and the bump growing, and I really love my bump. It was most noticeable, I think, that the bump was there at about 23 weeks. And I think we announced that we were pregnant maybe around 20, it could have been around that time as well. But yeah, that is when bump definitely started showing itself. It became a little bit more difficult to hide it at that stage. Okay, next thing I have here is emotions. This is probably the one that I've noticed a lot more over just the course of being pregnant in general. It's kind of just consistently developed from like trimester 1 to trimester 2. I did notice when we announced properly that I was pregnant that I was like super emotional that week. It was not that it was tough, but my emotions were just all over the place because it felt like we were experiencing that all over again, even though we had obviously told our parents and friends already like weeks and weeks and weeks before this. When we told everybody else, it was like a whole other thing, and it just felt really overwhelming to me. And I don't know whether it just like kicked in that, okay, a baby's coming now quite soon. I don't think it was, but I think when, like, you know, a lot of other people know about something, you're just like open to a lot of other people's opinions. Obviously being online, you are as well. I'm well aware of that. Obviously like 99.9% of people are like very, very happy and lovely in their comments and their congratulations and stuff like that. But I don't know, it just could be a me thing, but I was just a little bit like overwhelmed with maybe the amount of people that knew at that stage, because our circle was so small at the beginning. Like we told a very small amount of people when we were expecting, so it could have just felt like the enormity of like a lot of other people knowing your little thing. So yeah, I just felt super emotional after that. There was a lot of crying. I had to take some time to myself, and just like in general getting like, you know, emotional over like silly things that I normally wouldn't. I am quite an emotional person, I would say that. I'm good at controlling my emotions, but I know I am an emotional person. But I think just like pregnancy can throw your hormones all over the place. But yeah, basically there's times where I'll cry over things that I know in my head, I'm like, why am I crying over this? This is stupid. It's not stupid though, it's totally normal. Basically, you know, it's such a huge change in your whole life growing a baby, and I have so much respect for anybody that has given birth. It's a job, you guys, and I just, round of applause. Obviously, I am so excited. I cannot wait to meet little Bubba. It's just gonna be the best thing in the world, but there are parts of it that are hard. This one here, I wasn't expecting, and it kind of came at me from nowhere. Restless legs. I think I had heard about this before, and then when it happened to me, I was like, oh my God, yes, somebody told me about this. It was around, I think, week 25/week 26. Leg cramps at night when I was sleeping. These were like, do you know the cramps that you feel? I hadn't felt them since I was a teenager and obviously was growing, but these were like intense cramps, and I was trying so hard not to wake up my boyfriend in the middle of the night and be like, I think my legs are going to fall off. But they were obviously just like growth pains. I honestly have no idea. I think they can sometimes be down to dehydration as well. I have heard this a lot in pregnancy though. It's not like the most common thing, but is definitely common. But yeah, just cramps like straight through the arch of my foot and through my calf, and it would wake you up in the middle of the night. I had it a little bit when we were away in Spain as well, but not a whole pile. Oh my Lord, they were interesting. And then the only other thing I've kind of started seeing in this trimester, it could be a lot to do with me traveling though, was swollen ankles. I actually haven't had them literally right up until the last like 2 weeks or so, but I did notice after we had, or when we were on holiday and after we'd gotten home, my ankles were pretty swollen. So I've just been really careful to be drinking lots of water, staying hydrated, and not standing on my feet for long periods of time, which can be difficult when you want to try and get some stuff done, but you kind of have to listen to your body and do what you can to help yourself, I guess, in the long term. So yeah, I've just been trying to listen to my body a little bit more and slowing down when I need to slow down, and I feel like that's something that's going to benefit me, like coming into the third trimester now, that my body's just going to need to slow down, and I'm not going to be able to do all of the things that I want to do all the time, and that's okay too. Other than that, that is how my second trimester went. Again, can't believe we're in the final stretch now. Bubba's going to be here in a short couple of months, and we're gonna have another little baby, not like this one, a human one, running about, not literally running about the house, but about the house very, very soon. So yeah, that is about it for today's video then. I hope you guys enjoyed having a little bit of a listen to how I have been getting on this past trimester, this past couple of months. If any of you guys are pregnant as well, I know a couple of you guys are pregnant and expecting around the same time as me, which is so exciting. It's really nice to be pregnant around the same time as some of you guys are as well. But let me know down in the comments how you guys are getting on, or if you have had a little bub, do let me know how you kind of felt in your second trimester, if you had any of these symptoms during yours as well. It would be really interesting to know. But yeah, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed already, I would love if you would hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you back again. Or if you have been watching for a while and you haven't subscribed, I would love to have you here to join the fam. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will see see you all again really, really soon in my next video. Bye. And bye-bye from Nelly, who is now on the floor lying under my chair. See you guys later.